Hello. Well, I also did change my name since the last time I was on
Yes.
here. So I've historically gone by my middle name, which is Victoria, but now I'm going by my first name, which is Beatriz. You can just call me Béa. It's turned out to be a lot easier for folks in English. So, hello. My name is Béa Victoria Albina. I am a UCSF trained family nurse practitioner, a master certified somatic life coach, somatic experiencing practitioner, breathwork meditation guide, and host of the Feminist Wellness podcast. And I have a book coming out September 30th. Yay! Called End Emotional Outsourcing, Your Guide to Overcoming Codependent, Perfectionist, and People-Pleasing Habits. And that's my passion, to help humans socialized as women to live in their joy and not all like messed up in codependency. So that's me.
Messed
And
up in
I'm a
codependency.
huge fan of the show. I love being here. You are
Yeah,
the
we love
bestest.
having
We love having
you.
Yay!
Oh, and you're our favorite person to talk to help
Oh,
us work through all of our emotions
all
because
the
we
big
have
feels.
so many.
so many.
And you're so good at bringing them back down to the body.
I try.
Cass, you're actually better at explaining this one. So why don't you kick us off with how we're going to frame this episode with Béa?
All right, fine. Just because I'm really excited about it.
Just because you're really excited about it.
I think Emma and I have had a dream for a very long time to have a mini Béa that could sit on our shoulder and just help us navigate all of the sticky situations in our lives. But because we respect her so deeply and do not want to take over her entire life in that way, we thought the next best thing would be to create an episode with a bunch of mini game plans for what to do depending on what you're feeling. So, if you're feeling anger, what can we do to sit with it? What can we do to process it? What can we do to just fucking move it along? All of that good stuff. And I just have this knowing, this feeling that Béa just knows exactly what to do in all of these situations. Because literally, some people say, what would Jesus do? I say, what would Béa do?
I do. We have had conversations in sticky times where we're like, should we reach out to her just to have her back on? It's a hard time for us.
This is hard.
I mean, you can just literally text me, but
No, and we have
deeply
that privilege, and
appreciate
we
do it.
absolutely love you. Well, I think we want to dive first into one that is near and dear to my heart. It is somewhere I spend time when I feel the most scared, and that's anger. Me and anger, we've been besties for a long time.
Been hanging out.
She and I. So what does anger tell us?
So anger is a very sacred signal. It says a boundary was crossed, a value was violated, something in me matters enough to get my attention. So I really think of anger as a deeply, profoundly sacred thing. Because sacred anger is the anger that comes from love, from care, from clarity, from knowing deep in your bones that your dignity, your integrity, your wholeness truly matters. And sacred anger is like this clarion call for something to be looked at. It's not aggression, domination, revenge, hurting. It's a fire that says, my no hasn't been heard. It's the voice that says this is not okay. I deserve better. We deserve better. Sacred anger is precise, and its goal is to burn away what doesn't serve us. How's that landing?
That's beautiful and a total reframe for me. I always regard my anger with people call you hot-headed or hot-tempered or whatever, and something that's a little bit irresponsible, and that you do it when you don't know how else to process a bigger feeling. And that's not how it feels in my body, but I feel like that's how the world treats anger.
Right. And I think the world conflates anger and aggression. Right? Anger and lashing out.
Yeah.
Right. So anger that's held within that leads you to speak towards more justice is an absolutely vital, beautiful, amazing thing that I think we need to lean into and support and create space for the expression of. And aggression can just, go jump off a cliff. I'm not interested. right? Aggression's like elbowing someone on the street. Aggression is screaming at a cashier, is going all Karen. You know what I mean? And I can have a lot of compassion for where that comes from, but I don't think that's what you're talking about, is it?
No. Yeah.
No, it's not projecting our feelings outward. That's when any feeling gets dangerous. And like maybe dangerous is a little overwrought, but like that's when any feeling loses its original like purpose, which is to alert us. That's all that feelings are. Is like, hey, human, hey, hi, here's what's going on deep inside. Here's what needs your attention. Here's what needs your care. Here's what needs you to speak up or go get in the tub. Right? Like pay attention. That's all feelings are.
How interesting to frame it that way and realize that, you know, like women are told we're too emotional. Okay, so we're too aware of like our boundaries being violated. We're too aware of like, you know, these violations that are happening to us, but they're like, shh, 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 keep that to yourself.
I mean, but of course, like how else can the patriarchy keep patriarching if not for that? Right? We're too emotional, but you know, Andy Bernard gets to punch a hole in a wall, right? And like, that's okay. There's just a guy with big feelings, but they're not feelings. It's just anger. Wait, what? Men don't have feelings.
Ugh, gross.
They just punch things.
They're not ladies.
They just punch things. Yeah, they're not little ladies with their little lady feelings.
No.
If you notice, sorry, go ahead, Em.
No, I was going to do the same thing you did.
Oh, if you notice that you are moving towards aggression, like you maybe aren't quite losing your temper, because I think a lot of us who are socialized as women have a really tight control over how we respond to people in the world. But if you notice that you are teetering that way, you're like really irritated by little things that are happening and it feels like everybody is out to get you, like what do you do in that situation?
Right. So if you're over 40 and you're feeling that you probably are in perimenopause and you deserve some progesterone before bed.
All right.
I'm just going to put that out there and go get a mammogram.
Actionable step.
Right. Get a mammogram and get on some progesterone, because the first thing to go is in perimenopause is progesterone. And the first sign is irritability, mood shifts, homicidal ideation on the subway, like really being irritated and aggravated and annoyed by absolutely everything.
Okay.
Your progesterone's low.
Okay.
Rule it out. You know what I'm talking about? But like, let's put it out there. And I'm just going to say it once more, because as a holistic practitioner in these Maha times, I have to say it. Go get a mammogram. Okay. But if that's not you, if your progesterone's dialed in or you're 28 or 32, it's really time to ask, what is so wildly out of alignment in my life? So when I was in an abusive marriage, everything was irritating because I didn't have a safe landing place for my nervous system anywhere, right? And at home, I had to mask so hard to not get yelled at or made gaslit or made to feel like shit that like I was just living in a fully masked state everywhere at all times, except for with like the occasional dinner out with girlfriends when I would just start sobbing. You know what I mean? So like, what's going on in your life that you're not expressing the small annoyances and they're building up and they're accumulating and they're taking over, right? Because an animal can only hold so much. And at some point it's going to come flooding out, because of course it is, right? So I would start with getting really curious. What am I putting up with? What am I tolerating? What is just actually not working for me that I've been subsuming because of my good girl conditioning? Because whatever reason, right? And just the more clear we can get, the more we can move towards taking action. Yeah. So if it's not like this general sort of low grade or high grade, like everything is rankling me, but something actually happens and you're like generally having a good day and then something happens, we start with step one is to name it. So not just I'm mad, give me a little more adjective, right? I feel furious that I was dismissed. okay, I feel furious that I live in a world that he thought it was okay to dismiss my opinion in that boardroom. Get really specific, because part of what that does is it shows the parts of us that we're listening, we're paying attention, and we have our own back, and it reminds us that we're not cuckoo bananas.
Mhm.
Because just like, I'm mad, okay, but when we can say, no, here is the point of this fury, like this is the exact wrong that I am sure I was done. It helps if you're particularly a person who's been written off or dismissed or made to feel like your feelings don't matter. The more specific you can get, the more internally validating it is, right?
Mhm.
Naming the truth brings you back into power. One of the biggest problems I see in emotional outsourcing, our codependent, perfectionist, and people pleasing habits, is that we are no longer self referential. Everyone else is the reference point.
Mhm.
Does he think I was too mad? Does she think that what I was saying was worth listening to? Is that why I was dismissed? Right? What does everyone and everything, what do they say? What do they think? What do they believe about me and my worth and my value and my safety on the planet? So whatever emotion and situation we're going to come up with here, becoming self-referential is one of the most important starting points, because you have to be your own North Star, because we're not.
Yeah.
And then on that pathway, if you're like the two of yous, where you're lucky enough in this beautiful life to have someone who has your back as hard as the two of you have each other's backs, you do lean on the people you love while you're learning to have your own back, right? You say, hey, Emma, so-and-so said such and such to me. What do you think of this? And you do get that external validation as a conscious, active, thoughtful choice to support you in realizing what you think. But that's the point, right? It's not, I'm going to outsource to Emma, I'm going to outsource to Cass. No, it's, I'm going to get their opinion while I figure out what my opinion is. Does that make sense, that difference there?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I think
I
people get stuck there. Like, I can't have external validation because I don't want to be codependent. No, just choose it, and it's a totally different game, right?